This video is to review solving systems of equations, and we're going to look at solving them both graphically and algebraically. And we have three examples. This first example is if they just give you a picture like this, and we have f of x and g of x, and we want to say how many solutions does the system have. So what we're looking for here is where does the circle and the parabola touch each other or intersect. So that's at this point here, this point here, this point here, and this point here. So how many solutions does the system have? It has 4 solutions. One thing you definitely want to be able to do in this area is know how to graph a circle. You didn't have to know how to do that for this particular question, but if you were given the equation x squared plus y squared equals 9, you should know that that's a circle with a radius equal to 3, because it's always the square root of this last number. Or x squared plus y squared equals 25. That's a circle where the radius is equal to 5, because it's the square root of that number. Another example says determine the solution set for this system graphed. Okay, so you have a parabola and you have a straight line. Again, we're trying to see where does this parabola and this straight line intersect. A lot of times students get confused and they want to pick the x-intercepts for the parabola and the x-intercepts for the line. We want to know where do these two things touch each other. And you can see here that these two things are never going to touch each other. So the correct answer here is no solution. And that's what this 0 with the slash mark means. Okay, another example of something that means no solution is the empty brackets. Okay. Now a more complicated example would be something like this, which of the following represents the y values for the system below. So I'm going to first show how to solve this system algebraically, and then I'm going to show how you could solve this by graphing it on your calculator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use substitution to solve this system. And I'm going to take this right here. This is what y is equal to. And I'm going to plug it into this equation right there for y. So I'm going to write x plus, substituting that in, x minus 4 squared minus 2 equals 4. Okay, so I'm going to solve this equation for x. I know the question asked me to solve for y, and I'm going to eventually get there. What I have to remember is that x minus 4 squared means x minus 4 times x minus 4. Okay, I can't forget about the minus 2 equals 4. Okay, I have to FOIL this thing out. So that means I have x squared, because x times x. Okay, minus x times negative 4. Okay, I have that here, minus 4 times x. And then negative 4 times negative 4 is a positive 16. Then I still have that minus 2 equals 4. So now on this side I want to go ahead and combine my like terms. So I'm going to write my x squared first. Now I have x minus 4x minus 4x. So that's a total of negative 7x. Because that was negative 8x plus x is negative 7x. And then I have positive 16 minus 2 gives me a positive 14 equals 4. Now in order to be able to solve this, we know that to solve these types of things we have to get it equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract 4, x squared minus 7x plus 10 equals 0. So now I want to factor this, and I'm going to do that real quickly. It gives me x minus 5, x minus 2. If you need a review of factoring, please see the factoring video. And so I would set each of those equal to 0 to get my solutions x equals 5 and x equals 2. So So now I have my x values, but again, the question asked me to find my y values. So I have to plug these values into the equation to get my y values. Now I can use either one of these equations to do that, but when I look at this top equation, that seems a whole lot easier for me to get my y values, a little bit less work. So I'm going to use the x plus y equals 4. And I'm going to plug in 5 first. So 5 plus y equals 4. Subtract 5 from both sides, I get y equals -1. So I automatically am saying, okay, B has to be the right answer. But just to make sure I haven't made any mistakes, because I know how important every question on the SOL is, I'm going to make sure that the 2 gives me 2. So x plus y equals 4. 2 plus y equals 4. I subtract 2 and I get y equals 2. So that does work. So I have the same exact question here that I did before, and I'm going to take a look at graphing it. So this equation right here is perfect to type in the calculator as is. This equation right here, you have to get equal to y, so we have to subtract that x to the other side to get y is equal to -x plus 4 before you could type that into your calculator. So you can see right here, that's what I've done. The first equation is -x plus 4. The second equation is exactly what you see here, x minus 4 squared minus 2. So I've graphed those two things here. The red one is the second equation, the blue one is the first equation, and I want to see what my solutions are. So I'm going to go ahead and look here and see that I have one solution right here. And if I look at that, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as my x value, -1, which is what I got algebraically when I solved it, and 1, 2 as my x value, 1, 2. So 2, 2 is the other ordered pair. So again, I'm only concerned about the y values for this question, which are -1 and +2. So I got the same exact answer. So you can solve some of these questions either way. Some questions you can only solve algebraically, some you can only solve graphically. It kind of depends on the question and what you're most comfortable with. So if you have more questions about solving systems of equations, please see your math teacher.